Guys, I found what I want to talk about today. So, like I said before, I don't want to make videos just to make videos. I want to have a subject or something to talk about. And today is a two-parter. Today I have a lot. PSA submissions and getting PSA submissions back is always a fun time, but not really a fun time when you get tons and tons of nines. I wouldn't say I'm a big resubmitter with cards I crack out and resubmit if I don't have a purpose. Just because this card has a 9 on it doesn't mean I'm like, oh, automatic crack, resubmit. I don't take it personally, pride at all. No. I could have missed something could have happened, or something, worse. I know it does happen. I've seen cards that have creases on the top of them because of a PSA case accidentally pinching the card. I've seen cards that have been graded high because of that, and I think, these cards are graded prior going in the case. So it's kind of weird when it gets a low grade and it's pinched on the back and you're like, oh, obviously they did that damage. Well, that pinch on the back probably happened when they were sealing it as an 8. So, very little... I'd say, very little is kind of known of PSA's process of actually going about and what goes first, what goes next, whatever, and how they go about doing things, especially probably because a lot of things change. And I know a lot of people, it's not super public. I know they kind of keep that hush-hush. I know a lot of people in the hobby, especially on E4 and everything, probably have step-by-step. They know what PSA's doing. Because I know there's probably some E4 people that are PSA graders. Nobody has really stepped forward, but I can guess. But anyway, so today I wanted to go over some PSA 9s and go over with you guys, okay, why this is kind of my first look at a lot of these cards. And I don't necessarily know why they got 9s, and see, okay, are they a good 9 candidate crack, or are they, okay, I want to keep it as a 9. So some of these I have kind of went over, like this Festive Pikachu, but again, I think this information is valuable and useful to a lot of people that may have 9s in their collection, and they're like, okay, is this a low 9, is this a high 9, strong, weak, all those terminology. And if it was a complete misgrade, and it all really depends per the submission as well. I would say, but anyway, so that's part 1, and then part 2, I wanted to go over another good old word, acquisition. I just bought a lot of stuff from this recent card store I went to. Usually, I do not buy cards at all from card stores to grade. Because usually the card stores are very in tune with grading processes, and especially if it's a high, value card grade, high card value, they have the opportunity to get a lot more value out of that card than just selling it raw, and they know it's like a, gem version of a card or whatever, very high. And so I'll get into that story first before I go into the PSA 9s. Oh, by the way, my name is Slade. Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm owner of Grade Level Collectibles, but I talk about information about the hobby, as well as prices on cards, and going over what I find valuable to especially beginner people in the hobby, and how I wanted to get information that would have been useful for me going straight into the hobby. I know this E4 side and everything of my journey now been years and years into the making, and thankfully I am where I am today because of E4 and because of the people that have kind of rubbed off on me, and a lot of the ideas and concepts and information that I've gotten from collectibles have been my own research, yes, but majority the knowledge and everything passed down that have been people that decades into the hobby down to me, and they give this information, willingly, and I would want to do the same, pass on this information as well, because I know this can be a money pit, especially if you buy, the Black Label Umbreon at $12,000, where now it's, $3,000. Oof. Or like, back in the day, I think it was Charizard's, not Crystal Charizard, but some high-end Charizard back in 2018, 2017. That was a Black Label as well. And I think it was the Shiny GX, that Charizard, but it was the English version, which was the I forgot which Charizard that is, but anyway, that one was sold Black Label, crazy amount, and then it never went up back to that amount ever again, even the same Black Label. But anyway, again, information that I would want and know about, that's very valuable just for a beginner going to the hobby. But I know a lot of people that are on E4 and everything watch this, but this video and a lot of my videos are for the people who are just getting into the hobby and stumble across my video just like, whoa. I know that they go to PokeRev first or whatever, but hopefully they get pinged down enough to see my video, and hopefully it helps them out. But anyway, if that's you, hey, welcome. I talk about Pokemon, as you can tell. But anyway, so on the first story I wanted to tell about, what was it, about a month ago, I went into this local game shop. Actually, no, it was I befriended a collectibles business owner. His name's Marco. I befriended him. He's a local collectible store owner. Him and his girlfriend, and I befriended him and got to know him really well and everything. And I've had really good talks with him on collectibles. Or life as a whole, or life as a business owner. I'm a business owner myself, so it's been really fun to talk with him and just to kind of share life stories together. But anyway, through that connection, he knows the owner of this other store that's in the same kind of mall, and this other store just through him. He knows that I am very into Japanese Pokemon cards and everything, and high-end cards, and he heard from his buddy that owns this other store, like, hey, this guy just came in, dropped off all these Charizards, dropped off all these high-end cards, you be interested in them or whatever? And he's like, oh no, but I know a guy. And so he contacted me, like, he took a picture of it, and we had Blaine's Charizard, we had Shining Charizard, we had Shining Charizard from Neo. There were, a couple base set Charizards. I mean, just every Charizard you could think of. Plasma Storm Charizard, the Japanese version of Plasma Storm, and Plasma Gaze, I think it's called, and all these cards. I was like, whoa, I'm very much a Pikachu collector, not so much a Charizard collector, but if it's high end, and I know Charizard is super liquid, especially in this market in collectibles, Pokemon especially, and they and I've never actually seen a lot of these cards in person. I've seen them online and everything. I'm like, man, that's really cool. So I was kind of busy at the time. So about a couple weeks later, I went in and saw the guy, and I looked at these cards, and yeah, it was a local guy. Came in, he like, hey, I have these binders or whatever. You want any of these? Give me a cash price or whatever. And they probably paid him, I don't know, maybe 25-40% their market value. Or probably 50% market value. I know that's card stores kind of profit margin. But anyway, they got a deal. And so I kind of negotiated, and I paid about, what was it? I think it was $5,000 for all these cards. And I'll show a little clip here of them. I mean, you got Expedition Charizard, you got Plasma Gaze Charizard, you got, not legendary collection, but you got all these Charizards. They were in about, I would guess, I've graded maybe 600 cards, 600 PSA cards, and I would guesstimate that they were in the range of PSA 8 to PSA 9 areas of a grade, and give or take one grade. And I was pretty confident in it. I laid down the money. I'm like, hey, I'll buy it from you, whatever. And, you know, I went back and forth because it's a lot of money, obviously, especially in this market where not a lot of people are buying here or whatever. But these types of opportunities never really come about, especially from card stores. You always have people that are selling online, selling their child collections, and they see, you know, on eBay, like, oh, a PSA 8 or PSA 9 sold for this amount. This is how much I want because it's in really good condition. You have all those, very unrealistic people that haven't been in the game for a while and are never sold a card in their life, and they're like, hey, I want, you know, 4 G's for this card. So you have to get it graded, you have to, you know, all that type of deal. And so you know, it was a big risk, definitely a big risk, but I was very confident in myself, in my grading capabilities and what I see in the card, and I'm very meticulous with my cards. I've never had a card come back that was more than 1 grade level away than my guesstimate. I'm formulating, and that'll be a video again another time, formulating, you know, what makes a PSA 7 to a PSA 8 to a PSA 8 or 9 to a PSA 10. What makes that scale, and what does it look like, and what are some stipulations? Obviously, PSA has on their website what it is, but we know in actuality it's not really. And I've taken the average of all that and kind of processed it in my head. And there's a lot more people that are probably a little bit more pinpoint accuracy, like S. Pratt, like a lot of these guys have been in decades in the hobby, way more than me. So anyway, I was very confident, and I was like, okay, yes, here's my money, and I got them all. I cleaned them off, like wiped them off and everything, as in like you know, make sure there's no scratches. There is a thing I've showed in videos before where you can, you know, blow hot air on it from your mouth, and then it's just a little bit of precipitation, a little bit of residue, and you can kind of wipe it off with a microfiber towel. Nothing like a very abrasive towel, like a bath towel or whatever. Please don't do that. But anyway, that's what I did to prep them and everything. Nothing really else, because you can't really do much. And I was, you know, I'm always very cautious, especially with like the high-end type of deal, because you can really get burned. I've gotten burned before in, you know, that I was overconfident in myself. I was overconfident in, you know, what I thought the valuation was, and obviously I got burned. So I am very hesitant on putting a lot of money down, but I was this confident. And again, it was such a treat to actually just see these cards in person, because I've never, you know, these are from 2006, 2008, 2000, whatever, way before my time. And it was so cool to have them in person. And, you know, there was a first edition, what was it, first edition, oh, there was a Dark Charizard as well. You've seen the video, but I'm doing it without the video. There's a Dark Charizard. I mean, there's a first edition, I think it was first edition's Blaine's Charizard, which was no, it was first edition's Dark Charizard, which is awesome. I think that was the only other first edition, but anyway, really cool. I picked it up, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Thank you very much. I'll go and clean it off and get all my orders ready. Well, a couple days later, he called me back, and he's like, hey, the guy brought in some more stuff you may want to look at. So I went over. Oh, he saved the best for last. So the biggest one of these cards that he brought in was Legendary Collection, Reverse Holo Charizard. There was a regular Legendary Collection Charizard. There was a lot of EX cards. I absolutely adore EX cards. If you see on my Instagram at Grade Level Collectibles, you'll see a lot of these cards I'm talking about. EX Kyogre. They had a Ampharos EX, beautiful card. You'll see on my Instagram. I absolutely adore the E-Series, cards. The artwork's just phenomenal. And the best card that I got out of all these cards was Crystal Charizard. Crystal Charizard, that was from E-Series, and from specifically Skyridge. I know there's 2 versions of Crystal Charizard. There's Crystal Charizard that has the Crystal Charizard on it, and it's like gold. But this one it's a Crystal type Charizard, but it's not really called Crystal Charizard, whatever. But in the hobby, it's known as Crystal Charizard. One of the best artworks, I would say, of Charizard, besides base, obviously. And it It was in great condition. I would say I'm a little bit more on the PSA 9 area. It's a gem card. But man, if that gets a 10, that is crazy. The last PSA 10 sold for, I think, $12K, something like that. I paid for the card. I think I paid, what did I pay on it? $1,800 on the card. It was a good price. Pretty much all the cards that were super minty, I pretty much paid PSA 7 prices, and it's risky. 100% it's risky. And a lot of people are like, that's stupid. Why are you paying that? That's PSA 7. It's not even in a PSA case. Yes, I know. I know. But from my analyses, I thought it was worth it. I think it was worth it. And we'll see. We'll see. But, if I get a PSA 7, it's kind of breaking even. It is what it is. But the difference between a PSA 7 and a PSA 9 is very significant. You have dents, you have tons of whitening, you have scratches on the surface. It is a big difference. And I'm just so I was so hesitant because it was a lot more money. Buying all the rest of the cards, all the EXs and everything, it turned out to be about another $3,500. And I was like, man, I just spent $5,000. Like, do I really need to pick up some more of these cards? And it was one of those instances, like, vintage is down significantly from 2020, especially. Holy cow, 2020. And I think we're getting into a time where the valuation of these cards and the opportunity of getting these PSA 9s, PSA 10s of these cards is getting up there. A lot of people could say, like, oh, hey, 2020 was peak vintage. It'll never go back there. Dude, I don't know why people spend so much money on modern. I really don't. I understand. I mean, I kind of understand. The artwork is phenomenal. I mean, I'm saying this and I spend tons of money on modern. I mean, technically, like, these, I'll just spoil one of these cards. These ponchos, I mean, it's from 2016. I mean, 2016, what is that, like 6 years ago? Am I doing math right? No, 7 years ago. You could say that's modern, 100% compared to these other vintage cards that were from, 1998, 2002, 2003. I just see vintage in a very good light right now because, as you can tell, no one's really talking about vintage. No big streamers talking about vintage. No big, some YouTubers, maybe S and Pratt, definitely S and Pratt. Good old PSA 7 through 9 old bag Japanese. That's the meme anyway within me. But underrated PSA 7 to 9 old bag Japanese. But anyway, I see vintage in a very good light right now because I see it at a good price point because all the hype is down, all the fast money's down. I feel they're at their intrinsic value right now, which those who don't know economics, intrinsic value means it means their true value of something. And the only way to see intrinsic value is through the past, looking at the past. If a correction in the market spikes up a bunch and spikes down a bunch and then mediates in the middle, you take the average of those and draw it out, and that was the intrinsic value at that time. Again, there's only way to see intrinsic value is through the past. And it's kind of lying right now that I know the intrinsic value. I feel that it's closer to its intrinsic value than farther away during 2020. And I feel comfortable buying that. And a lot of these cards, if they do come back high grades, I'm probably not going to sell them, honestly. I'm probably going to sell maybe a few of them to get back my cost basis. But I'm probably not going to sell a bunch of them because I know how rare they are. I mean, how many, PSA 10, PSA 9 Crystal Charizards are in the world? And they've been around since 2006, I'm pretty sure E-Series was. Not a lot. And if we see a huge price increase later down the line, those cards are probably going to go up first than these modern, than any of these modern. Modern's struggling right now. And it's, it was writing is on the wall for a long period of time. And struggling, I mean, like the big stonk cards, like all the alt-art cards and everything, they're really having a hard time right now. Japanese, they shot up, but now they're back down to their original or a little bit above their original price. And that was a boom and a bust, or huge huge interest, decreased interest because not that money or whatever. But I see modern just continuing to go down. The not limited stuff, the stuff they can just print and print and print. Not that Pokemon will do that. Maybe English Pokemon will do that. Not Japanese, but I do see the oversaturation of S. Pratt says death of all hobbies, oversaturation. I don't want to say oversaturation. I'm just saying the overavailability of these high-end cards, or really hard cards to get. Moonbreon, the Gengar VMAX. I don't have any of those here. I have my PSA 10. I'm really hesitant selling because I love the artwork. But you have a specific period of time where Pokemon's printed the most amount of cards in 1 year, or in the past 2 years, that they have ever done in the past 24 years, 23 years. So I feel vintage is in a really good spot that I'm willing to put some money down for vintage. If you look at my collection, if you look at what I collect, majority of it's not vintage at all. And it's because I feel like I've missed the boat. I missed the boat. Vintage, it's gotten so high, I don't want to put that much money into it. Getting the PSA graded, cases and everything. But I feel that right now it's in its ideal position, that it can, that it's at a price that's digestible right now. And modern there's probably in the next 5 years you're gonna see a seesaw effect of modern's gonna go down, vintage is gonna rise. I bet YouTubers have been saying that for the past 4 years, since 2 years since 2020 and everything. But I feel like it's in a good position for me anyway, that I'm willing to put some money down for vintage. And I was excited. I was very excited because seeing that Crystal Charizard in person. So some people call it cartoonish and everything, but it is a beautiful card. It's definitely a beautiful card. I'm kind of cautious because, okay, do I just have rose-tinted glasses on right now? But comparing it to all the other Charizards and everything, I feel I understand why people grade PSA 5s of them, why people collect PSA 2s, 3s, 4s. It's because it's a beautiful card. Beautiful card. So, anyway, that was my little story. I'll, again, through all that, I showed some stock footage and everything, and you guys can go on my Instagram and be up to date, but that's kind of what happened in the past 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks while I haven't been posting everything. That's kind of what happened. But anyway, I wanted to get in some good old PSA 9s and talk about what I feel if they are strong or weak PSA 9s, and we'll get into that. So, let's go. Hey, there we go. All right, so setup. So I got face cam, I got card cam. So cool. Let's get into this. So this is kind of like my process. I kind of, obviously, okay. I yell at myself like, what the heck? Why are you dumb? Why did you get a PSA 9? And then I check out the card. And so the first thing, number one thing I look for, and that is specifically centering. So let's view this card real quick. How's the centering look? It honestly looks pretty good. Maybe, also I like to bang a little bit around in the case just so that it's not kind of covering. Okay, I got a good view of the edges. And what I actually look in is actually the corners. Is that top spacing the same as that bottom spacing? And it's kind of hard to see, obviously, with the camera and everything going on with with what I'm showing off. But in general, it looks really good. And then immediately I go in the back. Okay, cool. So first thing I look, centering. Second thing I look for, whitening, because it is the absolute easiest thing to spot. So we'll look through here. And again, I want to bang it down a little bit. Okay, get that view underneath the lip. Go over here. Okay, I see no whitening. Okay, and the next thing I look for, print lines. Where are you at? Boom. There you are. I don't know if you can see them. right there. You see that glimmer right there? Boom, all the way across. Big fat freaking print line. Print lines are literally the death of me. Print lines are not fun at all, and that is literally the only reason why this got a PSA 9. So that is probably not going to get a PSA 10. I've seen print lines get a PSA 10, but it's kind of when it's right at the face, it's kind of like, it's hard to justify. That is a better candidate for getting a 10 versus centering. The worst. I would say this. How to go from a 9 to a 10. Here's the hierarchy. So you got the absolute worst, like it cannot get a PSA 10, whitening, and then you got print lines, or then you got centering, and then you got print lines. That's kind of like the hierarchy of it all, and that's how I view it. So again, print lines. So it's in the middle of like, okay, potentially could get a PSA 10, but it is what it is. And here's another tip I wanted to bring up. Your submission and your submission group really matters. It really matters, what groups of cards came in what submission, and if it was a certain cards got a PSA 9 because of print lines in this submission, and then another submission this got print lines, and this got a PSA 9. More times than not, it is harder to get a print line card a PSA 10. But anyway, this one print line, I'm gonna go into a maybe area. So we'll go into the next one. Good old Festa Pikachu PSA 9. So again, first we look for centering, and you can see it is a little bit thicker on the right than the left. I don't know if you can see that. I know on a black card it's kind of hard to see. On the back it's a little bit easier because you can see there's more yellow over here than there is over here. That's kind of, when you can't tell from the back or from the front, it's kind of easy to tell from the back. And you can see more thicker over here, yellow, than over here. Centering's not that great, but it is within the PSA 10 standard, I would say. Looking through it, if there's any print lines, if there's anything going on print lines, I look for it. No, I don't see anything. Oh, especially, PSA 9s are not going to have indents, so you don't really have to look for those. And then I look for whitening. And this is one of the ones I kind of looked at before. I'll take my wallet kind of to show this. But you can see there's a lipping right there, yes, but there is whitening actually. Just a tad bit of whitening on the edge. It's kind of hard to see. Oh, actually it is that lip. That's crazy. You see that lip right there? That's where the whitening is. It's like right there. And there's maybe just a tad bit of whitening over here, but that's where it is right there, that little bit of whitening. So that is, that's kind of like, dang, I got whitening. But I've seen tons of whitening on PSA 10s. Yeah, that stinks. So this one, because of the centering and because of the little bit of whitening, I'm keeping it as a PSA 9. More than likely, it'll probably stay at a PSA 9. So I'm going to say this is my maybe pile, this is my no pile, and this is my yes pile. So let's go into that. Next one, boom, PSA 8. So this one I was kind of surprised by because there has to be, now PSA 8s can have indents. They can have very, very minor indents, from my experience anyway. A lot of people say, oh, indent automatically PSA 6. It's not necessarily the case. First of all, centering. Looking at centering, maybe a little bit heavy to the right. Again, you can look on the back, see if it is. That looks pretty good. That centering looks pretty good. So I think it's still within the, I think maybe it is a little bit heavy on the right, but in general, I think it's pretty good. Then whitening, looking for whitening. Let's see, any whitening. I don't see any whitening. Maybe a little lip there. No, I don't see anything. So whitening, not really. So my only conclusion, there is a small little indent on this card somewhere, and I'm just too hard-headed to see where it is. This is a great face cam because you just see my forehead. Yeah, this one, it tricks me. This one is a little tricky. Sometimes I put cards aside just to look at them like every inch of the card and see potentially where it is. And okay, I kind of see where it is. Okay, so look at here. You see that? You see that right on that corner? A little bit of indent. I think that's what it is. Man, that stinks. And that is just super tiny. And that is a PSA 8. I honestly, like, the only reason probably I wouldn't regrade this is because this is going to my PC. If I get back another grade, and I think this is possibly going to be the highest. This is possibly going to be the highest grade that I'm going to get with this card, because this card is super hard to find in well condition and not graded. But yeah, kind of stinks. But this one's going to be a no. So if I get back another one of this and it's another PSA 8 or worse, I'm gonna think about maybe sending it in. Or if it's better, I may think about sending this in just to see if I can get a little bit more out of it. This one hurts a little bit. Boom. It is the Luigi Pikachu. And I pulled this, I opened the box and I pulled it directly from the box, and this kind of hurts. Yeah, so you can kind of tell how a grader is by the things that they've graded already. So with this, you can kind of see, okay, was this grader harder? Was this grader easier? What's going on compared to the other cards? And a lot of these, I got this guy back. I got this guy back in the same submission. Some of the actually all these cards except one of them, or two of them, except the Festa and this other one I'm going to show, were the same submission. So that's good, valuable information to know, and what they deemed as PSA 10, because some PSA 9s can slip past being PSA 10s. So this one, going through it, I know exactly what it is. It stinks. It's possibly not going to get to PSA 10, but it's the centering. It is the centering. It's heavy on the right versus the left. Literally no whitening, anything else, whatever. You can really see it. Kind of see it on this diagram where there's more yellow on the right than there is on the left. Oh wow, never mind. I'm blind. It's so okay. Yeah, it's the opposite. So I don't know why that looked like. Ugh. Okay, if you look down here, no, I don't know. I really don't know. It does look a little heavy on the right, but to the extent of a PSA 9, I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see it heavy on the right than the left. You can maybe it's tilted a little bit. I don't know, but this is an expensive card, especially a card in a PSA 10. It's like $1,000, and a PSA 9 is like 800 or whatever. It's not a huge depreciation, but I think this one's going to be a maybe, because I feel that this one can get a PSA 10. Same thing for this guy, and this guy's a little bit worse on the grading. You can, or the what's it called, the centering, because it looks like it was shifted down a little bit right there, and you can really see it kind of thick, very thick over here versus over here, and you can see it better on the yellow, more yellow on the left than on the right, really. So this one's probably going to be a no. Which stinks because Mario is literally the most expensive one, and I got hammered on my 9. I got hammered on my Marios. The other Mario had whitening on it. Ooh. It's a big oopsie, but you know, I got back what I paid for it. I didn't pay the crazy amount, so I'm probably gonna put that into the no pile just because I don't know. It was $19 to grade, so I may just say heck it and put it in, you know, the grade pile again, because it's such a price difference, especially PSA 10, PSA 9, but go through it. I'm going to go through these a little bit faster. So Pikachu, I believe, you know, centering, pretty good, left and right. I think the reason why this got to 9 was because the centering is a little heavier on the right, on the left than the right, and you can kind of see that on kind of the back, but no whitening at all. And I believe this one is going to be a good chance of it being a PSA 10. So I'm putting it in the yes pile. Another one, this guy, Pretend Grunt Pikachu. Again, looking at the centering, it looks pretty good. Going to the back, no whitening at all. I bought this from the same guy that I bought a full art Grunt Pikachu, and that one got a 10. Actually cracked it from a CGC 9.5, so it was really good. This one came raw, but again, I can't find anything going on with this card, so except maybe this little ding down here. You see that? Yeah, I'm gonna put that in a crack. Why not? Acerola, Chinese Acerola, not the extra battle day. This one's a beautiful card. Look at that. Look at all that foiling in it. Look at all that too. Shiny bits right there. And I didn't know there was a Haunter and Gengar right there too. Pretty cool. But anyway, going through this card, this could have been on me 100%, or this could have been on PSA. I don't know, but this one, let me get out the wallet. So this one got a lot of whitening right there, and so this one is going to be a no, because it's just the whitening of how prevalent it is. And I think this one got a 9 because obviously the whitening, but because the centering too, it's heavier on the left than the right. So with that, I'm like, that stinks. So going to it again, Milotic. This one, centering's good, whitening, no whitening. And let's do the little print line check. Print line, there it is, right across Milotic's face. I love it, absolutely love that. It will not get a PSA. This one, yeah, it's definitely a maybe. This Milotic, look at that freaking centering. I love that. Look how fat it is up here on the top left compared to the bottom right. Yeah, that's fat. That is a fat centering line. Look at that. Look at the difference between the top and the bottom. It's pretty significant for a Japanese card, being that off-centered. But anyway, yeah, that one is going to be a 9, and that one's centering is going to do it to you, and that significant centering is going to be a 9. Sometimes worse centerings can get 8s, which is crazy. Print line check. Print line checks out right there. All across every one of these promo cards. Got it, print line. Bruh. Alright, and this, boom, centering is going to be the issue. Same thing. Top and left are both fat. Fat with 2 T's, and these two are skinny. So, that one is going to be over here. No, the print line, possibly print line is going to be an impossible. So we got our hierarchy of possible crack and switch. I'll look at these more significantly, more thoroughly, and then these are going to be cracked, and these are going to be going back home to my vault. So that is the video. That is my process of going through and which ones are possibly 9, which ones are possibly 10s, which ones are strong 9s, which ones are weak 9s. And that's what these are. Possibly 10, strong 9, weak 9. So that is going to be it for today's video. I'll think of something in the future to talk about some more. I know this one's going to be very long, but I know people listen to this like a podcast, so that's cool. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this has helped you out, and maybe this can be a guide for you as well, going through your PSA 9s. See if you can crack it and resubmit to a PSA 10. So we will see. I'll give you an update on this in the future. So. That'll be another video. I have some cards that came back that I cracked out before from the previous videos I've done, and I'll show you that. So with that, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.